It's always a shame when we hear that adults cannot consume the content that they want. They cannot play certain games, read certain books, or ultimately enjoy a certain piece of material. And now we're finding out that Silent Hill F has been banned in Australia. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I've talked a lot about Australia on this channel going back years. Funny enough, there have been so many situations like this where we've heard about games getting unfairly banned. We've heard about senators calling for anime bans, right? Just 5 years ago, Australia bans more games. They had banned Kingdom Come Deliverance. They banned DayZ 5 years ago. We know that Cyberpunk 2077 was actually censored in Japan, but not Australia, which came as a shock to people. And I've also talked about Kotaku, Australia, being shut down. And now we have another situation where another game is getting effectively banned. So it says the upcoming horror game Silent Hill F has been officially banned in Australia, receiving a refused classification or RC rating. This classification means the game cannot be sold, advertised, or legally imported due to content deemed beyond the standards for R18 plus and X18 plus ratings. Now, I had just talked in a video not long ago about the kind of trigger warning that is put on this game. If you go to the Silent Hill F Steam page, it gives you a very long list of the content that is in this game. Now, I criticized it because I feel like it's a bit of a spoiler. I feel like they're telling you, oh, hey, this is a game made for adults, and that should be enough, but they're getting very specific. Maybe it's because they were afraid it was going to be banned in certain places, and they were trying to subvert that from happening, and that didn't work. But it says the game contains depictions of gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucinations, torture, and graphic violence. This game is set in Japan in the 1960s and contains depictions based on the customs and cultures of that time. These depictions do not reflect the opinions or values of the developers or any individuals involved. If you feel uncomfortable at any point while playing, please take a break from playing or speak to someone you trust, which is just mind-boggling to me because this is a game made by adults for adults to consume. So you'd think that they wouldn't have to do this, right? They wouldn't have to specify all these things. I get that on like the ESRB webpage, they give you a detailed list of things like swears that are used or certain instances in the game that do appear that might be bothersome to some people. But before you even click the page to look at the game, they tell you this. And I also think that any normal or level-headed adult would understand that just because the developers are creating this type of content does not mean that it is their personal values or it reflects their personal opinions. Like, if I play a game with torture, of course I would not assume that the people who made it are okay with torture. If I'm playing a game that has child abuse, of course I would never think to myself instantly, oh, these developers must support this disgusting thing. Like, that is not where most people's minds go, but we do know that this game is going to be pretty intense, which sounds really cool. I love Silent Hill, and this is a game I am actually very excited for. I hope it comes out. I hope it's that good. And when I hear a game is getting banned in certain places, it almost makes me a little bit more excited for it because the developers will not bend over backwards to get it unbanned. Maybe before release, if we don't hear about a game's rating until like 2 months before launch, I would be worried because that could mean that they submitted it, it got rejected, and they're trying to alter it and ultimately censor it. But when it's just straight up banned before release, it gives me a little bit more hope that we don't have to worry about it being toned down at all, and I think a lot of gamers feel the same way. But if you do not know about video games being banned in Australia, this is very, very normal. Like I mentioned, I've talked about Australia a hell of a lot on this channel. They are very strict when it comes to violence and when it also comes to drug use specifically. As you can see, Silent Hill F is right up on that list, banned by the IARC. There was no reason given, but I think that we can just tell based on the description that we were given why it was banned. We have things like Blade Runner, the Enhanced Edition, banned for interactive sexual activity involving a person who is or appears to be a child under 18 years. We have Wasteland 3 banned because of drug use related to incentives and rewards. A censored version was later rated R18 plus. Omega Labyrinth Z banned because of interactive sexual activity involving a person who is or appears to be under 18. We have things like implied sexual violence related to incentives and rewards. So, not even sexual violence, just implied. There are multiple Saints Row games here, State of Decay, even The Witcher 2 for sexuality and nudity in relation to incentives and rewards. We have Silent Hill Homecoming because of high impact torture scenes involving drilling into body parts. So, I mean, as you can see, there is a very big, long, notable list here. And this is not even a full list because I had noticed that Kingdom Come Deliverance wasn't actually here. This was banned in 2019. I had talked about this all the way back then, but it was a game that was, of course, released in early 2018, had been banned in Australia. It was officially refused classification on July 30th of that year, but only recently brought to attention by a Twitter account that shares information about the censorship. And it just says that it had been classified twice before, on October 30th, 2017, and again on May 7th, 2019 for the Royal Edition, all which include the DLC. So it had already been allowed, and then suddenly they just decided, nope, no more. And we assumed it was because of an attempted rape scene in the DLC A Woman's Lot, but that was never really confirmed either. And we also have had in the past Australian senators wanting to do things like ban all Japanese anime featuring what they said was child exploitation, which was basically just a character that appeared to be under 18. And we know how much of a slippery slope that is because there are people who could say any anime character looks like they're under 18 if they want, because at the end of the day, they're a fictional character and you could put any sort of age on them that you wanted. And now that Silent Hill F is being banned, a lot of people are talking about it on social media. Like I mentioned, this gave me honestly a little bit more hope that we don't have to worry about any censorship in any versions that could be consumed by us in like the United States or the majority of like Europe. It is a shame for the people in Australia that they cannot legally purchase it or download it, but we know how gamers are. That's all that I'm going to say. Seems Silent Hill F won't be releasing officially in Australia since their sort of famously uptight ratings board has deemed this as refused classification, which is done for games considered 18 plus by their standard and cannot be sold in retail. Just found out that it's banned in Australia, and it's people, you know, being like, this sucks. I hate this. I am so sad about this. Then you have gamers saying maybe they're actually cooking with the new Silent Hill. Oh my God, count me in on playing this. If this is real, I'm gonna cry. You know, I really want to play this game so bad. And unfortunately, in the time that I have been covering censorship on this channel, which again is 5-6 years at this point, I have never heard of them reverting a rating, especially in Australia. Very few times have ratings been reverted across the world, but specifically in Australia, I've never heard of a situation where they've changed their mind, so I don't think that's going to happen. Though maybe this will give you some more hope. Maybe you're in Australia and this is very disappointing to you. Either way, though, we do know now that Silent Hill F has been listed as banned in Australia, and I will be keeping my eye on this. I'm personally still very hopeful for this game. I hope that it comes out. I hope that it's really fun. But at the end of the day, we are hearing that this is happening, which really is not that shocking. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.